dreamers. We can't have peace of mind as long as we look to the outside world to make us happy. This is a universal truth. You see it everywhere in spiritual texts. But the illusion of control is the problem over the outer world, and why so many people fail and struggle to find lasting peace. I have been taking a new course with Joe Dispenza, and this is what he emphasizes with his meditation retreat. He had done a meditation retreat and they recorded it. And so I'm able to access it mainly in the early morning and late at night. His teachings on the quantum field are so interesting. He talks about, pausing, breathing, and looking around you, monitoring your thoughts, not in a way to control your thoughts, but to be with the thoughts that you think, and then you are able to change them if they are not really helping you, which most of our thoughts, for many people, are not helping us. Tapping into the quantum fields is a way and a pathway to finding true internal peace. Societal belief. It's a societal belief, and we've been raised with it, that happiness depends on outside circumstances, on our job, our relationships, our possessions, whether we have enough money to live in this very expensive world. And, we've discussed it before. You buy something and you think it's going to bring you joy or happiness, and it's the anticipation of getting that possession. But when it arrives, it fails to give you any fulfillment at all, really, because it's empty. It's an empty kind of, racing ahead for things that do not satisfy. And the quantum field is an invisible field of energy and the information that connects all things. So when you reach the quantum field through your meditative state, you are actually reaching a state of mind that connects all things, all things. We can explain that true peace comes from aligning ourselves with this quantum field beyond the limits of physical reality. We can think about how the brain and the nervous system, and how our brain and our nervous system can be trained by our minds to find peace regardless of what happens around us, what happens outside of us. But what happens inside of us is what makes us more conscious, or it raises our consciousness. The impact of meditation on the brain and the body shows that inner peace is more about internal alignment than external success. Now, Dr. Joe does teach meditation techniques to bring into our reality the circumstances that we seek, but really we need to concentrate on the journey and in the moment, and actually the real peace of mind comes by realigning yourself with the present moment, and that is the secret. So meditation and visualization and gratitude. Dr. Joe concentrates a lot on gratitude for what is coming into your life, and the joy of living, and being into a mode of joy, not focusing on anything in particular that is making you joyful, but the simple act of joy makes us more joyful. There's guidance on how we can incorporate these things into our daily life, and personal empowerment and self-mastery is at the heart of how we can find peace of mind. Inner peace is a skill, and it's cultivated by daily and, if not moment by moment, practice, self awareness, and mastery. And people have the influence and the power to influence their inner state of mind, regardless of outer turmoil. We can begin this journey at this very time, this very moment. The recent presidential election has offset people's balance and it has stirred deep emotions, with many people feeling fearful, especially the people who are high information voters. And it has stirred an idea about how the future is uncertain about the future of American democracy. And this kind of intense reaction to external events is a prime example of what I'm talking about here. We can unintentionally surrender our peace of mind to circumstances beyond our control. When we place our sense of safety, stability, or peace in the hands of political or societal events, we become vulnerable to the shifts and chaos inherent in any complex system. Now, in this case, if people feel the very foundation of democracy is at risk, it can create a pervasive sense of instability and helplessness. And this leads to cycles of fear, anxiety, and anger, emotions that can consume us and cloud our judgment, making it even harder to find clarity or a sense of calm. And what I have discovered in the last few days, people lashing out and blaming, finger pointing, shaming. And it is true that when people realize what they voted for, especially as it affects their life in a negative fashion, it will behoove us not to laugh in their face. Ha ha. That's what you voted for. It's very, very low energy and not productive at all. So Dr. Joe teaches us a different perspective. He suggests that we can achieve inner peace by focusing on our internal landscape rather than the external world. Our internal landscape rather than the external world. Whenever my mind wanders and becomes fearful about what happened with this election, I can pause, breathe, meditate, and get centered into the quantum field where all joy exists. The quantum field is that invisible web of energy connecting all things. It allows us to transcend physical events and anchor. It anchors ourselves in a deeper reality that isn't swayed by political shifts or social turmoil. This approach doesn't simply ignore the realities of the world, but it kind of gets us into a state of maybe divine nonchalance. And we can detach ourselves from the fear of what is to come, but rather we can see everything with a broader perspective. We can recognize that external situations don't have to control our inner state. When we do react strongly to events such as election results, we allow our peace of mind to be compromised. And we allow our peace of mind to be dependent on outcomes that are ultimately out of our control. And we can get involved in pro-democracy groups. But I have found over my lifetime that getting involved with political action is often very negative. But I will attempt to do so because, after all, we are all connected and we all do want often we are seeking utopia, which is impossible in the physical world. So true empowerment comes from cultivating this inner peace that we're talking about that can withstand the ups and downs of external circumstances, no matter what it is, no matter what kind of thing happens, a death, a family conflict, or a conflict in the world, or God forbid, a nuclear catastrophe, which would put an end to human existence. But the earth would come back. This doesn't mean being indifferent, but rather finding a place within yourself where peace exists independently from anything outside. And we've talked about meditation. Dr. Joe talks about meditation, and he has a lot of guided meditations. And sometimes he says things that I need to listen to more deeply. But it can help shift our focus inwardly, grounding us in the present moment. As you have watched, if anybody have watched my conversations with John Mears, you may have come to see that in his deepest states of meditation, he's able to reach his daughter, Angela, who has passed out of this world, but she communicates with John. So she has the book Pure Love is an example of the spirit guiding him in a direction where he can feel that he is contributing to the world. By focusing on inner resilience, we can find the strength to contribute positively to the world without becoming emotionally destabilized by it. This inward focus allows us to approach even turbulent times from a place of calm, peace, and an understanding of that life is so much more than our little personal perspectives. This enhances our ability to act with clarity and purpose rather than out of fear or reactivity. In a world where external events, like elections, seem overwhelming, it's an act of self-liberation to cultivate this peace that we are talking about. The peace that is derived from within our deepest souls and within our heart. We may not control political outcomes, but we can control how we react to them, how we respond to them. By aligning ourselves with a deeper sense of peace and stability and purpose, we can face uncertain times with a calm mind and a grounded heart. Dr. Joe teaches how to align the heart with the brain to bring coherence into the beating heart. And in that coherence that the heart is established through meditation, you can heal pain, you can heal angst, anxiety, and fear. And then in this calm state of mind and this grounded heart, we are fully aware of the challenges, yet undeterred by fear. Fear is the most debilitating emotion that we can feel. And this is what people are really reacting to, is this inner sense of unknown. The unknown is bringing the fear. But let's face it, the unknown can be very exciting, and we can have something to do with changing the world, with being what the world is looking for. Take a look. There's going to be a video that pops up, and I'll see you again.